Hello and welcome to Squib TV. I'm Samuel Layton and I'm joined by James Cartwright. We're going to be continuing our countdown of the best player in the NFL, and today we're going to be talking about
the NFC South.
So obviously this division is a division quite close to my heart, being a Carolina Panthers fans. So all the Colts fans that accuse me of being a Jaguars fan, I'm a Panthers fan. I'll get to the Colts in another video, but yes, Panthers fan. So this one's a big one for me. I'm going to start off with the Bucs, a team that James obviously raved about quite a lot. He thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl 9 times in the next 5 years. So we're going to start off with who's the main guy for the Bucs though? Because I agree with you. I'm on the Bucs hype as well. Who's the main guy though?
Yeah, well, of course I am on the Bucs hype. My fantasy team is relying on this side, so I'll be very much waving my... Well, I'm one of Tampa Bay Buccaneers flag, but I'll be waving my proverbial one. Anyway, throughout the season, main player for me, Mike Evans. He makes the grabs, he's reliable, such a brilliant tandem between him and Jameis Winston, both pushing it in each other's games, and I will imagine both will be maybe not Jameis, but certainly Mike will be up near the top of the wide receiver catching stats and receiving stats. Yeah,
I'm going to agree with you on Mike Evans. I also think the addition of Deshaun Jackson, however, might mean that Mike Evans gets a few less grabs this season, but I think Deshaun's game will actually open up that receiver position for the Bucs. I think Mike Evans is going to be the main guy there still. Jameis has been fantastic. Doug Martin was awesome a few years ago when he was fit, had a bit of problems. If he could come in and be another star there. Another guy I want to mention, not the best player, but I think he deserves a mention, Cameron Brate. What a top tight end he's turned into. But yeah, Mike Evans for me, I think probably one of the best players in this division. Probably one of the best receivers in the league now. Definitely top 10 receiver in the league, for in my opinion, if not top 5.
I would say prepared to say top 5 unless I could think of any others off the top of my head.
But I think definitely in terms of the Bucs, best player on this roster. So we'll go from the Bucs to the Falcons. I'm going to start off by saying a guy that we don't really mention an awful lot on Squib TV, and doesn't really get much hype in general NFL coverage as far as I'm aware. But he is the MVP, Matt Ryan. You need to talk about him when it comes to the Falcons. I don't actually believe he's the best player on this team, but I think Matt Ryan's a guy you need to have in the conversation. I don't know what you think about that. Who would you go for, James?
Well, since he said Matt Ryan, I'm going to go Julio Jones because, again, one of the top receivers in the league, if not certainly top 10, if not top 5.
I think probably top 3 even with Julio.
Top 3, okay, right. And he makes the grabs. He's pacey. Yeah, he's just a great wide receiver. Yeah,
defensively, I think they're more of a team, not many individuals. I like Robert Alford, but he makes mistakes. And Deion Jones was really good.
Vic Beasley's the one I like.
Yeah, Vic Beasley as well.
From the Falcons.
But I think I'm going to go with Julio Jones. I think he's the best player on this team, potentially the best player in this division. So many good players in this division. It's why it's one of the most exciting ones for me. Unfortunately for myself as well as a Panthers fan. Don't want to see it this competitive, but it is a good division to be playing in. Speaking of the Panthers, move over to them. I'll let you say first, because obviously I could talk about for years about the Panthers players. Who are you going to go with on this team?
Well, I think I'm going to trust your opinion on the Panthers when we actually come to pick the player, but I will say Cam Newton, because we saw his player dropped off last season and didn't enjoy a brilliant season. That's probably one of the main reasons. Another guy you're probably going to mention is the reason they probably didn't make the playoffs in the end, his injury throughout the season. But yeah, this guy, he can do everything. Maybe can develop his throwing game a bit more as the years go on. I hope to see him do that when he maybe loses a bit of his pace as he gets older. But hopefully he'll have a good season. I'll get to see the exciting part of his game.
Yeah, the thing that Cam Newton adds and Matt Ryan add, you've got 3 former MVP quarterbacks in this division. Obviously, we know the other one because he's going to be the best player on the next team that we talk about. But sure. Cam Newton definitely, he's up there. Defensive MVP 1 year though was Luke Kuechly, the man James talked about having an injury last season, stuff with concussion. Obviously, very serious injury in the NFL now. They take it really seriously. Any signs that are showing you're out of the game, and that was unfortunate what happened to Luke. I think he's probably the best linebacker in the NFL. I think he's probably one of the top 3 players in the league. As a Panthers fan, obviously I'm going to be biased, but I think that a lot of NFL pundits out there would probably agree that he's up there in the top 10 for certain. So I'm going to go with Luke Kuechly. various names you could mention. I think Cam has to be the other one that I would go
Offensive.
with. Offensive guy, yeah, because he's an MVP. But yeah, Luke Kuechly I'm going to go with, if you're going to allow me to take Luke on this one. But I'm going to add him into the list. Last but not least, the Saints, a team that James went to town on when we did the video there. Didn't see anything good for the Saints. Unfortunately, if you're a Saints fan, if James is to be believed, you'll probably relocate to a small town in the Midwest and never be heard of again next season. Obviously joking there, but I think I agree with you. Not really much for them last season. Hoping for a better year from them. Brought in Adrian Peterson. Hopefully, it'll be a good pickup. But there's one guy I'm going to let you bring him in. This guy's got to be the best player on this team.
Well, I could be one of the best quarterbacks for the past 10-15 years. Drew Brees, who's still at quite an old age, is putting up ridiculous numbers, and the guy who won in your fantasy team. So yeah, Drew Brees.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Drew Brees. Probably one of the best QBs in the league. Has been for a long time. The Saints would never win a Super Bowl if it wasn't for him. The Saints being as competitive as they are, it's all down to Drew Brees. He makes average receivers look fantastic. He just makes plays. He's one of the best players. I think any team would have Drew Brees at QB. We'll go out 4-1 then. A very tough one, I think, in this one. Do you want to start it off, or do you want me to throw one in there?
Yeah, throw one in there.
You're going to be furious. I'm going to go with Mike Evans, simply because I think he's the youngest in there. I don't think he's as good as Julio. I think Luke Kuechly is one of the best defensive players in the league, and Drew Brees, he's been there and done it all. Do you disagree with me there?
No, I was thinking that initially, but I think there's not that much in it.
No, I think this is a very tight division anyway. Number 3, who are you going with?
Number 3, I will go with Drew Brees. If you were asking me 5-6 years ago, potentially number 1. But as he gets on, I think number 3 is fair enough for him. Yeah,
I'm going to agree with that, and I'm torn between these two guys. Obviously, I want to say Luke Kuechly as the Panthers fan that I am, but I think my brain's got to go, my head's got to go ahead of my heart here, and I'm going to have to say Luke Kuechly for me is number 2. Missed a bit of the last season through injury, so I think if anything, just basing it on that, Julio took his team to the Super Bowl, so I'm going to go Julio Jones, the best player in this division.
I would actually like to dispute that, because in terms of the actual importance to his side, I feel like the Panthers, the reason they didn't make the playoffs last season was the loss of Luke Kuechly. But with the Falcons, they have so many other options at wide receiver. They can actually get away with not having him in certain games, like some Mohamed Sanu coming up and playing well. There's probably numerous other names in there. There was Taylor Gabriel. Potentially there is an argument to say Luke Kuechly is the best player in this division in terms of importance to his team. But what are we saying in terms of what they do in the game when they're actually on the field?
I think what you've just said there. I think I'm going to stick with that one. I'm going to say Luke Kuechly. I think you've got to remember this guy makes picks. He makes plays. Got a TD in the NFC Championship game on the defensive side of the ball. I think I'm being overly kind to Julio, to be honest. I do think he's a brilliant player, but we will go with Luke there. We'll have a defensive guy in there. We've got too many receivers in it as it is, so we'll go with that. If you disagree with us, if you think Julio's better, I think this is a really tight division. I think any of these players could be in the conversation. But please let us know. We will be putting videos out up until the regular season, up until the start, and then continuing. So please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. Follow us on Twitter @Squib_TV. Thank you very much for watching.
It's a touchdown.